this wasn't a horror. It just wasn't, okay? You know, I loved Haunting of Hill House. I'm sure we all did, you know. Mike Flanagan's a talented guy. He created something so special for horror television, period. And so, coming out with Bly Manor, I, and I'm sure everyone else, were pretty excited. And then, this came out. And it's really actually a gothic romance, if we actually think about it, you know. The story with Victoria Pedretti and, you know, Jamie and everything going on, it was more so a love story, forbidden love and, you know, dangerous love and lost love and things like that. Those themes are really great for teenage girl fantasy stories. But for something like this from Flanagan, it was a bit of a disappointment from what I expected. You know, now, did I hate this show? No, of course not. It's got so many great merits. I mean, the acting's incredible. You know, Tamia Miller was my favorite of the cast, though there was Victoria Pedretti as well, and everybody else who I just don't know the names. All the names would be everywhere somewhere. But they were great. It really kept me hooked on the show, you know, the quality of the acting. And the cinematography, like usual, Flanagan, was great as well, you know? It was nice, you know, to have something feel big budgeted again and feel really deep and real. And then, of course, the horror designs, the special effects, everything that you'd expect from, you know, standard good budget movie or, you know, show. It was good, it was entertaining, it was impressive. But I did feel a little disappointed in the general arc of the story. As I mean, the first half of the season was a little slow. I mean, very slow. I don't think I was really invested up until about episode 5, you know? And I mean, sure, they planted seeds in episode 1 with the hauntings and everything, with, you know, Victoria Pedretti being introduced as the nanny and finding out things about the house and stuff. It was all great, even with the woman, I forgot the actress's name, Gianna something, I forgot her name, but it was interesting with her telling the story and everything. That was great, you know? It got me hooked at first, but eventually it became, just a little bit meandering. I mean, I didn't really grasp what important was going on, really, to be honest. But episode 5, it did start to, you know, ramp things up a little bit. You know, things started to get really going, and that's when, you know, yeah, the show kind of picked back up to its, you know, grand level again, Flanagan's usual level. And yeah, I mean, in general, I really enjoyed that perspective shift of, you know, watching through the eyes of the ghost or the spirit going through the house. That was interesting, that was great. And, you know, it drove some of that, you know, some of the second half stuff, and the story overall ended quite nicely and with little twists and, you know, teasers and stuff. It was a good ending, but I don't know if it was big enough to justify just how much of a meander the show really felt, especially from that first half. And the writing sort of suffered too a little bit. It just wasn't the powerhouse Hill House was. Maybe it wasn't trying to be. Maybe they, you know, they definitely intended to do something much more, you know, personal, smaller, but I just feel it could have been tightened up a little bit better, and I don't think this does justice to the horror genre. I know many people who know Hill House would go into the show and, you know, pretty much try, you know, get as much as they can from it, from, you know, in the horror aspects, but this is really a gothic romance, a good romance I should add, you know, it's a good romance, but I just don't know if it was marketed right, if it's the kind of show everybody is gonna, you know, love and lap up and go watch. And, you know, it's a bit of a shame because, you know, I was really expecting something big for horror again, as, you know, in the Halloween month, October, you know, and we'll have Halloween pretty much by next week anyway. So, yeah, I just think this show could have been marketed better. It really could have been, you know. I feel this is one of those post-production things. They, you know, they shot the thing, they had this story, the marketing came in and went, hey, we're gonna just put this as a horror thing, Mike Flanagan and all that stuff. And although he wasn't really like directing the whole show. He did episode 1, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, yeah, it's a good show, just not a great horror show, if that makes sense. And those are my thoughts on it. I was a little bit lukewarm. I give it a 6, 7 out of 10. It was good for what it did, but it didn't really stimulate me as much as I expected. It was great look, don't touch, you know, special effects feel, but at the end of the day, felt a little generic for me, at least. I know a lot of people, you know, might hate me for it, but it felt a little bit generic. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Haunting of Bly Manor, since everyone's making a big fuss about it anyways. Like this video if you enjoyed. Comment what you think of the show. You know, did you love it? Do you hate me that I don't love it? Or do you agree with me? Comment all that, I'll respond. And yeah, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching. Peace.